everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and today we are going to be unboxing a game called Trickerion, Legends of Illusion from Mindclash Games. As you can see on the very bottom middle portion of the front cover of this beautiful collector's edition, I am 1,617th out of 8,864, but I can guarantee you, based on the date of this unboxing video and the fact it sat on my shelf for far too long, that I am probably the 8,864th person to actually open this collector's edition, which makes this the last and final unboxing of this ever to happen in the existence of the world. So I get something out of this, correct? I get some kind of slow clap or potentially shame. I don't know which one. Let me know in the comments below which one you think I deserve. Maybe I deserve both. Either way, we're going to go ahead and flip this over, take a look at the back of the box, and then we're going to check out all the components inside what looks to be a beautifully designed game. So here is what the back of the box looks like, and as you can see, there is UV spotting on the box, which hopefully is showing up on camera for you right now. You can see all the symbolism in the middle there, as well as the edging, matching again the front of the box. It looks absolutely stunning. Now, it's a very clean look. There's nothing really to read back here, but after going ahead and opening this up, there was this sheet right here, which actually is more so what you'd expect on the back of a game box, talking about everything inside. Now, we'll be taking a look at all the components inside the box, but we might as well go over this overview here. We have the base game and the Dark Alley expansion. So you're going to have the classic Trickerion experience as well as this gifts expansion added in too. Plus there's Kickstarter exclusive components, of course. This one has 3 custom pouches, a whole bunch of metal coins, alternate art on the main board to make it really stand out. Over here we have the Dawn of Technology, contraptions and signature tricks. That sounds pretty cool. And then over here the Academy expansion all laid out. So it states right in the middle, the collector's edition features the full game experience with all published expansions and unique components exclusive to this box. Compete for the mighty Trickerion stone, take part in the Academy's renovation, and discover the great Dalagard's secrets. Harness the power of the contraptions in the Dawn of Technology and challenge yourself with the solo mode against Dalagard's, and I really hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Air. Try each expansion individually or mix and match them to unlock new paths to victory and become the greatest magician in history. The very first thing you're going to see when you open up the box is the rules of play booklet. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first few pages of this one. We'll see right here we've got an introduction right here, as well as the goal of the game laid out. Game contents right here, of course, very useful when trying to determine what you have. You can even just go by based on the number of the components to help you out. You can also check out videos online. Content breakdown here on the side. Moving a little further in, we're going to start talking about components like wooden character discs and assignment cards and all that kind of stuff. Player boards, what they look like. So again, this is really going to help you out at the beginning. And again, when you're trying to actually be a magician, you've got things like trick and symbol markers. You've got performance cards, all kinds of good stuff here. Magician power cards even. This is a great representation of the setup as well as what the game board looks like when it's actually on the table in the bottom left there. So it's a lot more beautiful when it's actually on the table. We'll see the game board later on. Steps wise for game setup, it has 7 major steps starting up here and going all the way across the second page. And you have your player setup included too over here. And then, once you get finished with the player setup, you run into your game phases and you're off to the races. Now, in terms of how many pages you're going to have to consume in order to get to a spot where you understand the rules, minus the appendix or anything else, going right to the 21st page or the 20th page, I'd say 20th page, you've basically covered the game end at that point. And everything else at this point is optional rule variants that are here. You've also got your appendix, as I mentioned. You've also got your game end trick bonuses all laid out here. Credits and just some art in the book as well. So that's pretty much that. A couple examples as well to help you out, including some illustrations at the back. And then what I always love to see is some nice symbolism as well as the icons all broken out, because I guarantee you there's going to be a whole bunch, and these are the key ones to keep your eye on. And as I mentioned, there are expansions, every expansion from that original core experience of this game in this one. So here is the 1-player expansion, as you can see right here. So this is going to be really interesting to the majority of individuals on this channel here. Shows you the components right up front as to what you should expect to have inside the box to be able to use this. And it states right here, use the magician cards with the side marked with the, and it looks like a pen, a feathered pen symbol. So we're going to go on into this one to take a look. Again, it follows a very similar pattern in terms of how the rules are laid out. Game introduction, your game setup. Again, all specific to this expansion, right? So these, I'll just show you a number of pages here, and then we're going to head on down through the boxes. There's so much more to take a look at. Now, in terms of the number of pages in this one, it's a lot less than the rulebook, that's for sure. But there's still a decent amount. So there's about 14 pages or so, 13 if you're not including these two at the very back. And then on the very, very back here, we have a really nice solo player aid. So this is going to be huge for individuals playing solo. Definitely worth seeing this. You can play different difficulty levels. And you can really tailor this multiple different ways. So there's all kinds of easy, normal, hard across a number of different elements within the game, which is quite interesting to see. Next up, another expansion to go through here. So this is the Academy. Let's go through this one. Again, everything mentioned very similar to the other expansion we just talked about. Components listed out. Beautiful artwork inside. Here is the general setup of the game board, including this expansion. Now it does say right up here, which I really like, it does say the setup described here assumes that you are playing with the Dark Alley, which is required to play the Academy. The example showcases a 4-player setup, but written rules also describe the setup for lower player counts. The solo setup and gameplay are described in the solo rulebook. So everything you need about the solo rules are inside the solo book, which is great. You don't have to go dipping around between multiple books here, which is quite nice. Now there might be some mention of how to use this expansion in with solo play, or maybe it's completely excluded based on what I just read. But that is going to be something I'm going to need to dive into a little further. Again, beautiful all the way around. You got your key symbols to use, discover the dawn of technology. That's pretty cool as well. All right, so we're moving on past the books that are included inside this game, and now we're getting into the boards themselves. Now, before we go any further here, I'm not going to be familiar with every single component we're going to see in here, so I'm really just going to be showing you for the rest of this journey what's inside the box rather than explaining to you what I'm seeing. This is a complex game. There's a lot going on, especially if this is the first time you're ever seeing it. So here is the very first board. We'll go ahead and flip it over so you can see the opposite side. There's changes between these sides of the boards as well, but I won't speak to them at this point. Here is another board. Again, beautiful production value, and of course it is a collector's edition, so you'd come to expect that a collector's edition is going to be above and beyond the norm. However, I never checked out the original version of this game, so I don't have a comparison point, but I imagine that the beauty was still there. And here is the last one. Now these look to me to be the player boards would be my best guess. There's one more after this. And they all have a different color or hue to them. And then it looks like we're getting to the tokens down below, of which there's probably quite a bit of those. So here is the first sheet of tokens for the game. Definitely go ahead and flip these over so you can see the opposite side. I'll also bring these ones down so you can see from the top as well. And they want to pop out right away, so they're definitely not going to have a problem getting those out. Go ahead and just slide that one back in. Classroom tokens there. Again, some of this appears to be money, but remember there's going to be some actual coins inside this game as well. Here we go, some of the major rooms in the game. So many icons to check out, and that's again where those references are going to be really handy to kind of get your head around stuff. Got the practice rooms here, classrooms. Gonna be doing lots of practice, that's for sure. Next one. Some more practice rooms over here. Got like clubs and spades, diamonds and hearts on some of these as well. Of course, when you're a magician, you're gonna be having cards involved. This looks super cool. Very impressed by the looks of the tokens too. They're very nice, very classy looking. All right, more and more. Gonna have to learn which sheets are, maybe there's certain sheets that are specific to certain expansions versus ones that are specific to the core experience. I'll have to determine that on my own. Oh yeah, now we're getting up into some of the nice. When you get to the point where you're using a saw as a magician, you know you're doing all right at that point. And hopefully you're not going to be cutting anybody in half. Got some rope there as well. Sorry about that. That one flipped over to an upside down view, but there's the rope that I was mentioning. Of course, these money tokens are everywhere. This is what really is going to impress me here is the storage solution inside this box. You guys will probably be pretty impressed with this yourselves, but first we land on the game board. But as you can see, this could be the expansion board sitting on top of it. It is. There's a slot perfectly designed for it to sit. That's beautiful. And then underneath of it, you've got what looks to be the major game board in its own spot. And then look at the storage solution underneath this thing. So here's a look at one side of the game board. You can see here we got a residence up top here for the expansion. We've got a bank over here. We've got, what else we got here? We got theaters, the market row down here, dark alley over here. Looks like we have full auditorium or stage seating right here and the actual theater right here. That's really cool. Really like how they designed this. And it's quite a compact board. It's actually not as big as maybe what you're seeing on screen or envisioning this to be. It's quite an average size board, but there's so much detail and design and artistic, you know, pizzazz thrown into this board that makes it really pop. I like it a lot. And on the other side of the board, and now this is where I could be completely wrong in terms of guessing that it's for different player counts, it looks like it's just gone to kind of a night version of the board. Now, there could be differences. I haven't looked at every single aspect because there's a lot to look at here. But obviously, the first thing that catches your attention is the fact there's lights on in all the buildings. It's a darker shade, darker tone to the whole appearance. Obviously a nighttime setting. So that's pretty cool. And maybe there's elements of this game that have you flipping the board over, although I highly doubt that with the amount of components that seem to be in place here. But that's really cool. I like this a lot. This next board here is for the Academy expansion. We've got classrooms here. We got practice rooms over here. You will notice way up top, if you can see it, hopefully, it says 2 to 3 players up here is my guess on that. Now, again, I don't know the iconography just well enough. If I flip it over to the opposite side, it shows 4 now. That could be related to the amount of players. It could be related to something else in terms of gameplay, so don't take my word for that. But it is a double-sided board similar to the core experience. Now let's check out the very first tier of storage inside the box. You guys saw this a little earlier when we got through all of the main boards. I've opened up and taken off the plastic cover that keeps everything housed and in place so you guys can see everything underneath. We have to go through these Academy cards as well as what I guess to be a number of other types of cards in there. We got some gems. We've got some dice, 2 packs of them in fact, and then we've got the metal coins, and these things are heavy and they look super high quality, so we're going to take an up close look at all of these. Now there are a lot of coins inside those bags. There's a ton of these smaller ones. The next largest amount is the silver, and then you got the gold, and then the last one here kind of in this teal color, but the quality of these things are off the charts. They look absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to give you a look at these from all angles as best I can here. Doesn't matter what side you look at, they're just fantastically, they're so nice. So nice. And how deep they're engraved too is also really impressive. Here's a look at one of the packs of dice in the game. Again, I won't be able to speak to exactly what these are all for, but they are very unique and again, very high quality. And speaking of unique, check these ones out. Super cool looking. Again, I have no idea what these mean. I'm going to have to do some serious reading to understand what's going on here. There's probably a large majority of you that have played this already that are probably laughing at me right now, but don't worry, I will be consuming this rulebook. I am quite intrigued. There's also a lot more gems than what I currently have in my hand right now. Probably double or triple this in the bag, but just an idea as to how nice these look. All right, let's take a look at some of these mini cards. Now, first off, this is not the entire deck. This is probably 2/3 of the deck, but I want to make sure I can do this without dropping them everywhere. So this is what the back looks like. Let's take a look at the front. Got Academy, Theater. Some of these look like they're actual, you know, I don't know if they trigger something inside the game, and other ones have actual text and iconography on them. But again, I'll be learning that soon enough. I'll do my best here to keep my thumb out of the way. If you feel like pausing the screen to read any of the cards with text on them, then you can do that. The artwork certainly matches bang on to the actual board itself. Looks like it's all very uniform, so nothing's going to be sticking out in terms of how it belongs. Looks like it'll be quite the nice production on the table. Dark Alley cards are mixed in there. Theater cards. Early Bird. Hidden Treasures sound good. The Last Hurrah. Delightful Duo. Celebrity Discount. Double Duty. And the last from that deck of cards. We'll flip these over, take a look. Revelation. Morning Class. Opening All Doors. Deliveries. Guest Performance. All kinds of cards in here. And there could be mix-ins, of course, from the expansions as I'm seeing as I go through here. So take that as well. There's going to be some organization that'll have to happen to get all this stuff in place in the box. But I'm so glad there's such a nice insert in here. Now we'll head back to the box to take a look at more storage solutions in here. And these are empty until you fill them up, of course. But here is one that's going to likely house a lot of the cards we just looked through in terms of breaking them all out. I'll have to check into that a little further on. We've also got, oh, look at this. We got a cloth bag down below. But first, a couple of these. Let's go through them. So here is one. I'll flip it over to the opposite side. Got another one here. Here are some tokens. Was not expecting that. Looking pretty good so far. Looking pretty good. We got the cloth bag. Oh, actually, there's a few cloth bags. That is kind of a surprise that there will only be... Oh, there's a lot of them. Wow. So you got a little one here. Got this one here. And they all have drawstrings. And then this one right here. Again, they're all going to specifically hold certain items, of course. Got some loose bags in here for sorting and organizing. We also have this tray here completely empty. Again, another one to put some tokens in. More trays for organization. I love this. Look at them all. So again, these are probably player trays would be my guess. There's a number of these down the edge here. There's a huge bag here of wooden tokens. They're all colored. So I'm going to have to go through each of those. And there's also lids. It appears, yes, there is lids for these as well. So here's an example maybe of what one of them looks like all closed up. Quite nice, quite secure. That's looking pretty good. So I'll go ahead and remove these out. Again, once you've got all this stuff pulled out, it should be really easy to organize it all back in the box because you can see there's even this base template at the bottom that shows you where these things are supposed to be housed. There's also videos that you can find to get the stuff back in the book. Or back in the box, I should say. Speaking of books, though, we got the Magician Workbook right here. You can expect to find one of those. I won't go through everything in this book, but this is a turn order for it. There's another one here. And I'm guessing these are given out to all the players. So if you're playing solo, you only have to worry about having one of these in front of you. These are probably going to be like a quick reference guide for you as you play through. So that's kind of nice to see. That's really nice, actually. Very, very handy. What else do we have here? We've got... There's the expansion rules of play, summed up nicely. Again, oh, I love this. This is a really nice idea, having these all broken out in these smaller things. Again, per player, too. That's fantastic. So again, solo player, not going to have to worry about that as much, but that is so handy. Okay, moving on down the row here. Got some more tiles to take a look at. Now these are probably all the same, so I could probably skip past a majority of them. Let me take a look. Got some more cards down below as well. So we basically have 4 of these inside the box. And then we also have 4 of these inside the box. And there is 4 of these inside the box. And last but not least, 4 of these inside the box. So here is the back of this card deck. Again, there's going to be cards mixed between a bunch, but it's very easy to organize them all together. All kinds of differences there. Riverside's all together, it seems. Flipping this over to the other side, Riverside Theater. These are going to be all patterns, and my guess is this has to do with the tricks. I could be completely wrong. But these are going to be cards in different patterns and orientations you're going to have to complete in order to successfully do these things at different locations, whether it be the Riverside Theater, Yeah, these are pretty cool, and they're getting way more advanced as you go along. A lot more advanced. There is a whole bunch of those. A deck of mini cards to go through. Here are the different backs on some of them. Again, they're all mixed together. A whole bunch too, like tons of them. Okay, let's see if I can hold this all together as we go through them. We'll continue on here. I had to drop a few of those to ensure that I don't actually drop them everywhere. Next pack of mini cards, and this is only half them, so I can ensure that I don't drop any on the ground, but feel free again to pause the screen if you'd like to read any of these as I go through them. Got mimes in there, supernatural help, time warps, smooth cooperation, jack of all trades, shared deposit, meddle with destiny. There is a lot of these. And this is only half them. And the rest. Let's continue onwards. Rising Star, Wonders of Technology. They look like there's a tinge of color between them that likely relates to the different types of theaters that you're going to be in, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong there, but I'm seeing kind of red tinge, orange tinge, yellow tinge going on here. So there might be a breakup there in terms of which ones sit at which. But that'll be kind of interesting to dig into a little bit deeper. Could also just be the color scheme of the deck as well, and I could be totally wrong. Now let's check out this deck of standard cards. There's all kinds of different backs in here as well. Actually, I'll flip this over to the other side. And you can see these in fact are the backs of the cards. They are quite beautiful. Standard ones are really nice. Again, they very much match the coins. All right, let's take a look at the other side here. Oh, these are really nice. Very, very nice indeed. Very impressed with the artwork in this game. Again, it's a collector's edition. It's beautiful. I wonder if the original edition had the same cards or not. I guess someone in the comments below can let me know that. But these look really nice. And last but not least, the last deck of standard size cards in the entire box. So here are the backs of these ones. Flip them over and take a closer look at them. Beautiful artwork. I'll say that over and over again. Really impressed by how they look. Just great. Cannot wait to organize this inside the organizer and get it all figured out. And that's going to wrap up the unboxing. It was certainly a big one. It's a beautiful production here for this collector's edition. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.